Frontiers.
Hello listeners, welcome to Future Frontiers. We're still on break from our Mad Science series over the summer, but we're coming to you to chat about what's out in cinemas, what's coming out in TV, what's new in the world of sci-fi, what we've been watching, and things we're excited about. James, how's it going?
It's good. I've been having a lovely summer break from the podcast. I mean, we've been doing stuff on Patreon, but having a little break from the main feed and all of that mad science stuff has been a bit refreshing. I've gone to the cinema a few times over this period. I've seen a few things.
Okay, yeah, me too. Shall we start with talking about what we've seen over the blockbuster summer?
Yes. Now, this has been a good summer for sci-fi. I mean, the big trilogy of films out, I would say, would be Superman,
Yep.
Jurassic Park, Rebirth, and Fantastic Four, which we've mentioned in a previous Future Frontiers episode, but I've now seen all three of these films. You've seen one of them?
Went to see Superman.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed it. We talked about it over on Patreon. That was good fun. And yeah, I just couldn't find it in my heart to get excited about another Jurassic Park film. And I'm up for watching Fantastic Four, but you know, I'm already subbed up to Disney Plus. I'll catch it later. How were Jurassic Park and Fantastic Four?
I enjoyed them. Neither of them blew me away, if I'm honest. I feel like Fantastic Four, the genesis of that film, it had a lot of production issues. I mean, I say issues. They did a lot of cutting on the cutting room floor. A lot of stuff was edited out. John Malkovich played an entire character in one of the initial edits. His entire role was taken out. He'd been in the trailer, so they just cut his character role completely.
That's weird.
I think he played a character called Red Ghost, who was controlling apes.
Do you remember when those guys tried to sue a movie studio because, was it Ana de Armas was in a trailer and then she wasn't in the movie, and they went to see the film and they're trying to get a class action lawsuit going against like Warner Brothers or something because they were big Ana de Armas fans. And then I heard about that, and then like a year later I heard it had just been thrown out of court because it was stupid.
That is wild.
Do you think the Malkovich heads are going to be filing a class action lawsuit against Marvel?
I mean, I think they were kicking off. Like, the fans were kicking off about it. They were like, why isn't John Malkovich in there anymore? And they do reference that character, Red Ghost, but he doesn't appear at all. You just see one of the apes which he controls. He has some sort of mind control thing. And yeah, you see one of them. I think there's lots of stuff they shot for that film. They shot lots of adventures that the Fantastic Four had, because it's set a few years into their superhero tale. So they're kind of trying to show all these things they've been doing, all these like amazing feats of fantastic superheroism that they've been doing over the years. And yeah, they just kind of did like a mega cut of it rather than showing those stories on screen, which I kind of understand, because these Marvel films have been so long historically. They've been getting longer and longer, and now they're getting shorter and shorter because no one wants to spend 3 hours watching the same story that they've seen in other films. So I think that was one of the things which kind of made this pacing of this film a little bit more frantic. It felt like everything was a mile a minute. Suddenly you were in space, suddenly something else was happening, suddenly the big villain of the film's in there. I like the 60s aesthetic of it, but I do feel like it was a lot of, right, here we are, we've got to tell this story, but we've got other stuff going on. We're going to introduce this character, not really do much of this. This is a funny bit, here we go. And then it was all done. So it felt like it didn't quite connect for me. I didn't feel as connected to this one. But it looked nice. It's a big, fun, flashy blockbuster. It's very sort of, you can go in there and just be along for the ride. You don't have to think about it too much, and it's not as interlinking to all the various different Marvel stuff as some of the other films have been. I mean, they do a ridiculous Easter egg bit at the end, kind of the post-credit scene where it's like, oh, you know what's going to happen next. But I mean, it was okay. And Jurassic Park, on the other hand, I think I had more fun watching that. But again, like we said, this crazy T-Rex that they create, it's a cross between a Rancor and a Xenomorph, like a chest burster, the way it looks. Okay. And I kind of just wanted to see a regular dinosaur.
Yeah. Yeah, I've no problem with the idea of a movie monster being a cross between a rancor and a xenomorph. That sounds like great fun, but perhaps not in a Jurassic Park movie. I want to see dinosaurs. I want to feel like a little kid seeing dinosaurs on screen.
And they did have bits like that. They've got like a little cute dinosaur that turns up and becomes friends with the kids. And it's like, here we go. Let's have
I'm rolling
like
my eyes, listeners.
Yeah.
Clarify what
I've never seen such a look of disgust on Matt's face. But they kind of Disneyfied it in that way. Like how they made the Velociraptors the good guys in the previous films and all this kind of stuff. But I will say this I think it's called a D-Rex. And it's just like, it's very Gareth Edwards. The whole thing's very Gareth Edwards. But what did you think about Superman?
I really enjoyed Superman. People can head on over to Patreon if they want to hear more of both of our thoughts on Superman, but I really enjoyed it. It's kind of like stuck in my head after watching it as well. Like I came out thinking like, that was really good fun. I enjoyed that. And then it's stuck in my head a lot more than I really expected to. It didn't have that kind of disposable quality to it. It's kind of lived long in my memory, which is a good sign, I think. And I think I like it more now than maybe I did when I walked out of the cinema. So I need to watch it again to make sure I'm not just bigging it up and I don't just... there's a possibility I just really like the Teddy Bears and Iggy Pop song that plays at the end of the movie, because I've been listening to that on repeat a lot. So I just need to maybe watch the film again and just check that I haven't distorted my own view of it just from listening to that song.
It's just the soundtrack has sold it for you.
Yeah. It's a good soundtrack.
I mean, you were really into that film as well, because to the extent where you said, I might actually go to the cinema again to watch
I didn't
this.
actually do that, James. I was in a reverie. I was in a daze. Come on. Let's not be ridiculous.
That's like 2 cinema trips for the same film. Yeah. Unheard of. But yeah, so those were the main sci-fi films out. But we did catch a couple of horror films which have been released recently as well.
Sure.
Separate from all the sci-fi stuff, we were very privileged to go along to a press screening of Weapons, which was fantastic. I really enjoyed Weapons. What did you think of this one, Matt?
Yeah, I loved Weapons. Really, really good fun. Real exciting, fun movie. Good scares. Funnier than I expected it to be, although perhaps I shouldn't, because it's Zach Cregger and I'm a big fan of his Whitest Kids You Know group. But Barbarian wasn't that funny, so I thought he'd maybe stepped away from that, but he's kind of brought some humour back into his work with this.
I feel like Barbarian had its funny moments though, and I think this definitely has. It's much more of a black comedy than I thought it would be, this film. And the main premise is that a lot of children from the same classroom have all gone missing, and it's the mystery of solving that throughout this film. And it's best to go in knowing as little as possible, because it takes you on a few twists and turns. It shows you stuff. You think it might be one thing. Is it another? We're not quite sure. And you get these really brilliant scenes which are going to stick in your memory.
Together's also out. I went to see Together. Have you seen that, James?
Yes, I went to go and see that. A sticky body horror.
Very sticky.
Which may or may not have had the idea stolen from somebody else, I was reading.
Yeah. I think that's been resolved. It may have been resolved by settlement, I'm not sure, but I think that matter is now resolved.
Yeah, so we will speak no more of it.
Yeah, it's case closed. Something happened.
But it's starring Dave Franco and Alison Brie, and it's about their relationship, and they move to this countryside little house, and they've got strange neighbors, and they find stuff in the woods, and then the body horror starts, and it's about kind of their relationship and the internal fears that they're having throughout. And I think that's the kind of horror. It's a psychological horror, isn't it? It's their feelings and emotions, and then how that manifests itself physically in the film.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it didn't have a great deal to say beyond the kind of central premise about long-term relationships, but it sort of delivers on the body horror stuff, and some of the dialogue, the snippy little mean comments were excellent. And I thought that was probably better than anything else in the film. And Dave Franco and Alison Brie are both great. It made me realise I do actually like Dave Franco. I think James Franco has bad vibes.
Yeah.
And I had transferred my opinions on James Franco to Dave Franco unjustly because they look so similar and sound so similar. But he's excellent in this, and so's Alison Brie.
Yeah, those little snidey comments, I think they really hit you.
I was convulsing, so I was like, my body was like creasing up at some of the horrible things they were saying in like some of the scenes.
There is like, I mean, it's not as bad as some of the stuff, but there's one which is in the trailer, and he like says goodnight to her, and he's like, "I love you," and she just goes, "Okay," and shuts the door.
Brutal.
But
so there's worse.
Brutal. There is much worse, but it's a very interesting film, and that is out now in cinemas. So if you're into your horror, give that a go, and definitely give Weapons a look as well.
What are you watching on TV at the moment, James?
Well, you talked about Dave Franco. Dave Franco makes an appearance in something else that I've been watching, along with a plethora of Hollywood A-listers. I've been watching The Studio on Apple TV. Have you watched any of this yet, Matt?
I've seen the first 2 episodes, and then my Apple TV, in the post-severance window of just seeing what else was going on Apple TV, I just watched the first 2, and then I let my subscription run out, and I haven't gone back to it. But it was really funny and really well made, the first 2 episodes.
It's so good. The amount of people they managed to get in this. You've got like Zoe Kravitz turns up, Martin Scorsese in one of the first episodes. Like all of these amazing directors are in there as well. It's just jam-packed with really great people. And the core cast is has got names like, well, Seth Rogen is your main character. You've got Catherine O'Hara in there. You've got Catherine Hahn. There's like so many people in this, and they all put on great performances. It's basically revolving around a head of a film studio called Continental Studios, played by Seth Rogen, and it's kind of his trials and tribulations as he tries to navigate being the head of a studio and what that entails. And so much of it is just this kind of cringe comedy where you're just hoping that something else doesn't go wrong, but of course it does. And it has a really great climax in the last 2 episodes. It's like a part 1, part 2, and it's just like, it's so good. There's so many little film references in there. It's very knowing. It's like a love letter to cinema and cinematic tropes and all that kind of stuff, and what it is to make these kind of films. So yeah, I highly recommend The Studio.
Yeah. Okay. I need to get back to that, definitely. And I'll give a shout out to Slow Horses as well. We're on the Apple TV loving. I absolutely love that show. There's a 4th season out now that I will need to get my subscription back so I can watch season 4. But the first 3 seasons are absolutely amazing. It's a modern spy thriller series based on a series of books. It kind of gives off like a modern interpretation of what the kind of stuff that John le Carré was doing. That's what it kind of feels like. And it's really good fun as well. Gary Oldman's in it and he's amazing. Yeah,
that's definitely on my list. Slow Horses. I mean, the new one's coming out. Is there a new one coming out soon? I feel like they were filming it somewhere. I was in London the other day.
Oh God, I hope not. I'm already behind on season 4.
Too much stuff to watch. But there is also new stuff coming out soon in the worlds of sci-fi. There's a lot of trailers which have dropped recently, ones which I saw before watching those horror films we mentioned a minute ago. Have you seen the trailer for Tron Ares, Matt?
Yeah, more Tron. I'm looking forward to this. Tron's coming to the real world. Yeah, we've gone red. Yeah.
Yeah, gone really red.
Yeah.
That's
really how you know they're bad guys.
Yeah, bad guys in red, and lots of Jared Leto, which is getting a mixed review just because it's Jared Leto at the moment.
Well, look, nobody specifically asked for Jared Leto, but sometimes you get Jared Leto. And if you want Tron, you have to accept Jared Leto. Beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah, lots of people have been talking about the soundtrack as well. I mean, based on the trailer, I think. Yep. I mean, Tron now, since Daft Punk did Tron Legacy, people now anticipate a good soundtrack with a Tron film. So, yeah.
Well, I think that particularly when you revisit the first Tron as well, they're a sort of experience of the senses, aren't they? Like it has to confront you on all levels like that, which Tron Legacy absolutely did, and Daft Punk were a huge part of that. They've got 9 Inch Nails doing the soundtrack, so that's very promising. Is it interesting that they're credited as 9 Inch Nails? Because I actually don't think I've seen that before, because Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross have been making movie soundtracks for ages, but aren't they normally credited as Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross when it's a movie soundtrack? and now Atticus Ross is a formal member of Nine Inch Nails. I thought I just don't think I'd seen Nine Inch Nails credited on a movie before. Although it's possible. I mean, that just might be because it's the trailer and that's the best way to advertise it. But I thought that was a bit interesting and maybe telling of the kind of music that's going to be on it. More Nine Inch Nails-y than their soundtrack work.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that they've kind of got that differentiation between their musical output. It's a funny one. But I suppose, well, I was just like, maybe Jared Leto's been like, hey, I'm in a band. I want to get the band name on this film that I'm in. I don't know if he's got that much sway, but
I don't think Trent Reznor would be interested in Jared Leto's view on the naming conventions.
Why aren't 30 Seconds to Mars doing the Tron Ares soundtrack? That's what I want to know. So Tron Ares,
because they managed to get Nine Inch Nails.
So Tron Ares, that trailer is out at the moment. The other trailer which is doing the rounds is The Running Man. So we covered the original Running Man during our Dystopia series.
Yep.
And we mentioned when we did that Edgar Wright was planning to do a Running Man film, like his own version of it. And now that's come to fruition. It's coming out in November. And it feels very Edgar Wright already just looking at the trailer. It's very that kind of like
frenetic.
Scott Pilgrim kind of, kinetic filmmaking. That's what he's really good at.
Yeah, this looks like great fun. I'm really looking forward to this. That's coming out in November. I will be there for that.
And have you watched the Project Hail Mary trailer yet?
No, I'm holding off on this.
Don't watch the trailer. They give you way too much information, in my opinion, on this. So we're going to leave it there. Kind of try not to watch the trailer. I was very annoyed about some of the stuff they put in there, but I've not read the book, but I was like, it feels like they've given away too much.
Shit, I have seen the trailer. It was on before. It must have been on before a film, because now you're saying that, I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh, I won't say it for the sake of the listeners.
You think you're watching one film, and then it's actually another film, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I could kind of tell. I haven't read the book, but I could kind of tell watching the trailer. Like, I don't think we were supposed to know that.
Yeah, but yeah, another instance of trailers just giving away that bit too much. But we do have other films coming out as well in cinemas and on streaming. There's a film called Afterburn. I didn't really know much about this one. It's another post-apocalyptic film with Dave Bautista. Seems like he just did one. Didn't he do that one with Mia Jovovich? Like literally just earlier this year.
No, James, the man's got to work.
I mean, he's getting that check, isn't he?
It's giving Doomsday by Neil Marshall vibes, the trailer for Afterburn.
Yeah, it was in the Lost Lands that he did earlier this year. So he's gone back into a sort of post-apocalyptic role. Samuel L. Jackson's in there as well. But yeah, it feels very much like you said, like that Neil Marshall film. So you've got this gritty British post-apocalyptic world. I think there's been something like there's a solar flare that's gone wrong and it's caused all of the technology in the world to malfunction. So now everyone's going back to wearing weird Mad Max-esque clothing and killing each other as they do, and as we all know will happen if the post-apocalyptic world ever comes to fruition.
Yeah, I think you can watch the trailer for this and make a fairly well-informed decision of whether or not you're going to enjoy the film.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, but gave it a mention. The other film which caught my eye is a film called Meanwhile on Earth. Now, this was released last year, I think, but I think it's just coming onto digital platforms as of the 25th of August, so it's already out by the time this episode of the podcast is out. But it's a French indie sci-fi, so I mean, they've already got me there. I'm already intrigued.
Yeah, this looks cool. It's a mysterious French indie movie. Looks like good fun.
Yeah, it looks very surreal. Don't quite know where it's going to go. You've got a woman hearing voices. She's got some sort of connection to her astronaut brother. And it's her talking to aliens, from what I can gather from the trailer. So it looks like it's going to be an intriguing one. I'd quite want to give that a go and see what it's all about.
When's that one out?
So that one's out as of August 25th on digital platforms.
Looking forward to it.
In terms of other stuff that's got a bit of a buzz around it, we've already talked about Frankenstein and Del Toro's version, which is now doing the festival circuit at the moment.
That's out very soon, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. So the festival screenings are happening all at the moment.
Oh, right. Okay.
So you've got like Venice Film Festival, you've got Toronto. It's getting a theatrical release in October. And then it's going to get a Netflix rollout. So I think it's going to have a limited theatrical release from what I've seen online.
That's just because they want to win Oscars, isn't it?
Yeah, they've got to do it for a little bit. But
it means they back the quality of the film, doesn't it? Like, because they don't do that with most of their movies. They only do it when they want to generate some Oscar and award season buzz.
Yeah, and I haven't seen a Del Toro film for a while. The last one I saw was Nightmare Alley was the last one I saw, which was in 2021. And that was a bit of a disappointment from Del Toro. It just didn't quite match up to his other stuff. I mean, I enjoyed it at the time as this kind of like neo-noir thriller, but it didn't have all of the things that I wanted from a Del Toro, like the creature designs. It didn't have as much of that kind of stuff. But he's been wanting to make this Frankenstein thing for a long, long time. And apparently he's a massive fan. He's even got Mary Shelley's original handwritten manuscript pages. Like he's bought that. So he's a big fanboy of the Frankenstein story.
That's cool. Well, you should get some pretty cool creature designs in this. He's been trying to get it made for 30 years. With the greatest of respect to Del Toro, it seems like making a film based on Frankenstein is the easiest thing to do in Hollywood. Like, what's taken 30 years?
Just had to get it right. He probably couldn't put it out because he knew I, Frankenstein was going to do so much better at the time.
I loved I, Frankenstein.
The continuation of the franchise we all wanted. What other things have been buzzing around in the festival circuits, Matt?
Well, Yorgos Lanthimos has made another film. This guy needs to chill out and just take a holiday. You can't move for Yorgos Lanthimos films.
I mean, if Lanthimos had wanted to make a Frankenstein film, he would have made it. He would have just done it.
He did. He sort of did. But he's got another one out, and it's kind of sci-fi themed, isn't it? And again, we've got Emma Stone in there. I do like them working together. They're very good together. I'm not slagging off Lanthimos. I'm only joking. I think he's very good.
He's only joshing with your listeners. But yeah, this one's based on a Japanese sci-fi called Save the Green Planet. And it's got the usual suspects are in it. You've got Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of other people cropping up in this that we all know from other Lanthimos films.
And then there's another Skyline movie coming out. Liam O'Donnell. This must be the fourth one, I think. Skyline Warpath.
Yeah, he's been putting them out, hasn't he? Yeah, and we did a interview with Liam O'Donnell a while back when he released Skylines, which I think was the third one or the second one. Yeah, it was the third one. Yeah. See, we're already getting confused with the amount of sequels this film has had, but he's putting in the work. He's very, like, all of his VFX are quite impressive given the sort of budgets and stuff, and he's turned this into a full franchise. So that's also doing the rounds at Fantastic Fest, I think, over in September. But yeah, another interesting sci-fi coming up. But what about TV, Matt? What about the small screen?
Well, as we are recording, and then when this comes out, Alien Earth has started. Massive sci-fi release for the second half of this year. I've seen 2 episodes. Have you watched any of it yet?
I have watched 2 episodes as well.
Do you want to give any thoughts, or are we going to hold those thoughts and maybe do a full episode on it later?
Well, I mean, we'll do a full episode on it later, definitely. But I want to hear some of your initial reactions as spoiler-free as possible. Okay. I mean, we can talk about the sort of like what's happening. It's Alien Earth. There's a xenomorph on Earth.
That's crazy.
Yeah, crazy. It never happens. But also, it's not directly about the xenomorph as much as I thought it might be, because it's got that in there, and but there's other aliens on board this ship that crashes, and it feels like it's about the artificial intelligence and the synthetics that are inhabiting this Earth as well, and sort of the quest for immortality. They've got a really interesting exposition blurb on the very first episode where they go through the different kinds of artificial intelligence and hybrids. You've got like hybrids between humans and synthetics and synths and all of these. It's like 3 different categories, aren't there? There's cyborgs,
Cyborgs, synths, and hybrids, yeah.
And hybrids. And hybrids are kind of... The hybrids make up the main characters in this, I would say.
So far, yeah. Yeah, and they are the kind of focus. I would say that, I mean, there was plenty of focus on xenomorph stuff in the episodes that I saw. It's not lacking for xenomorph action, or at least in the first 2 episodes. And I thought it was quite good. Promising, I would say, would be how I'd describe it based on what I've seen so far.
Yeah. But I think it's not like the Alien films where the whole thing is the xenomorph. I found myself being more intrigued about these different corporations.
Yeah, there's some world building about what Earth is like and has been like at the start of the Alien series.
Yeah, so it's been promising so far. I've really enjoyed it, and I'm interested to see where it goes. I mean, I think is it 8 episodes, 9 episodes in total?
I don't know. Yeah, it's short.
And I think it's good that it's that short, because I wouldn't want to see it go further than that. And this is like a year on from Romulus, isn't it? In terms of when Romulus came out.
Yeah, they've got them out quite quickly, haven't they?
Yeah, so you can see they're queuing everything up for a potential Alien versus Predator film, I think.
You reckon?
I think they're just really dipping into that IP that they've got now, because you've got the new Predator film coming up soon.
Yeah, that's true.
We just had Killer of Killers, which we talked about previously on Future Frontiers. And there was, of course, Prey. You've had Romulus. Now you've got Alien Earth. So I feel like they're really sort of expanding these universes for a potential crossover maybe in the future.
I'd be surprised, but I don't know. Obviously they'll want to sort of get what they can out of their intellectual property, but I'd be a bit surprised if we went back to that. I feel like that well is poisoned.
Yeah, but Disney want the money.
Fair enough.
Maybe they'll make it work, Matt. We'll just have to wait and see. But sticking on the Alien theme, Invasion Season 3 is out on Apple TV Plus as well. That's going to be out in the US on August 21st. And then we have to wait till the 22nd for the UK because of time zones and all of that stuff. But there's going to be new episodes of that coming out very soon. Have you seen Invasion? Have you seen any of the seasons previously?
No, I haven't. It's on my Apple list. I'm going to need to get my Apple subscription back, aren't I?
100%. I mean, they're doing all the sci-fi shows, but it was a real slow burn, this one. And they go on a few twists and turns in Series 1 and Series 2. And it feels like it's been a long time since they've released another one. So they spent time and money, from the sounds of it, on this season. They've spent one of the largest budgets Apple has put towards a TV show, apparently. And it's one of their kind of tentpole sci-fi shows, because they've got The Foundation, which has just been released as well. And now they've got this. They've got For All Mankind as well. I feel like Apple is the premium sci-fi series subscriber.
It definitely is. It feels a little bit like a bubble that is about to burst. Like, this can't continue money-wise. Like, they can't be significantly profitable, but whatever the strategy is, if it leads to a load of good sci-fi being made, I just hope we don't get dozens of cliffhanger endings in like 2 years' time when the money runs out at Apple TV and the strategy pivots to, I don't know, smaller iPhone.
They'll just keep doing more Ted Lassos and those kind of things. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see if Invasion is going to continue to be profitable for the sci-fi side of Apple TV.
What else is coming out on TV?
Got Peacemaker Series 2, sticking with the DC. So this is James Gunn's attempt to bring Peacemaker into his new DC universe, apparently. So I don't know exactly what's happening in this particular series, but I really enjoyed the first series of Peacemaker. It had a really fun intro. They had a lot of fun with it. John Cena is a great comedy actor. He really added something to this, and he was as much a dick as he could be, but then there's also moments when you feel sorry for his character. And yeah, they have a lot of fun with this. It's very James Gunn. And I'm interested to see how they try and make this work without going down the here's 100 different multiverses and we're all very confused now route.
I mean, I expect there'll be an element of that, but I respect that James Gunn does seem to have some loyalty to the people that he's worked with and enjoyed working with, and clearly wants to carry on this project. And I think there's going to be a little bit of crowbarring into his new universe, but fair play to him. He's in charge, and he wants to continue this project that he started under the old world order.
He's the boss. He can do what he wants. And staying with the Superman topic, have you heard he's now dubbed his Superman films part of the Superman saga?
No, I hadn't heard that. I thought it was Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters.
Oh, is that from is that what the comics are?
No, that's the name of the first bit of this new DC universe.
Oh, I forgot about all that when they did the full DC launch.
Yeah. So what's the Superman saga?
Well, I don't know exactly what it's going to entail, but obviously you've got Supergirl coming out next year, and I feel like he's got a few more films in the pipeline continuing on the success of Superman, because now we've got a film which has worked for DC. It'll be interesting to see how they can do sequels and how they can expand that story and where they can take the character.
Yeah, well, I'm ready to see what he does next. I don't think I'm going to be watching Peacemaker, though, to be honest with you. Wasn't there at the beginning, and there's been a reset, and I'm not too interested.
You can't watch it all, Matt. But will you be watching the final season of Upload?
I need to get back onto this. I watched season 1 and I really enjoyed it.
Then you left it. You left it discarded in the rubbish while you watched Slow Horses.
Yeah.
And all of the other things.
Yeah.
Hey, fair enough, mate.
And played countless hours of Final Fantasy VI.
Again, it always comes back to the gaming. But Upload, the final season, dubbed Upload Complete. That's what they're running with as the title for this one. It's only 4 episodes, and it's the end of this series from Greg Daniels. It's been an interesting one. I think seeing this as AI has become more prominent has been a really fun story to follow, because it suddenly becomes more relevant in how much people are using AI now and all that kind of stuff. And apparently Greg Daniels wrote 2 different endings for this. One is a bit more bittersweet, and then the other one's quite a hopeful ending. So we'll have to watch all 4 episodes to find out which one he's actually going to go with. But I'm glad he's actually been able to finish this, because, like you say, with the Apple TV Plus, if they're doing loads of different sci-fi shows, quite often there'll be a TV show made and you never get that completion. You never get that final bit to round off the story.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they've got that for Upload. We are talking on Patreon very shortly about the final series of The Expanse. So that's another one which had a satisfying ending, but it's also one that could have had a few more series to kind of round out the arcs. So it's just interesting, that factor, when they're making these sci-fi shows, just like, will they get to the end of the story or will they get cut short?
Yeah, good to be wrapping up on your own terms, if it is his own, or just wrapping up properly, isn't it?
Yeah, like it's not a rushed ending job like they did with Doll's House, Joss Whedon's series, where they wrapped up the entire, what would have been 4 more series in 2 episodes, and they did a massive time jump and tried to explain it all very, very quickly, which just didn't work.
Shall we answer a listener question, James, before we wrap up today's Future Frontiers?
Let's do it.
You've got mail.
So you were mentioning Upload and how it's kind of evolved as a show with AI evolving in culture. Jake's written to us with a question along a similar theme. So Jake says, with AI becoming every day less the realm of speculative fiction and more an inescapable, almost mundane part of our culture, how do you think the future will fare for the genre? In 20 years, will people look back and shake their heads at these films like how we might look back at films like The Lawnmower Man and other films that imagined such, in hindsight, far-fetched applications for the internet, cyberspace, and computers in general? I know films like Her and Ex Machina will stand the test of time, but what of some of the loftier films like The Matrix or Tron? Will they just have audiences laughing? Yes, I'm asking you to predict the future. That's from Jake. Thank you, Jake. James, predict the future for Jake. Go.
Oh, that is a tough one. But I think, hopefully they'll be laughing at things like The Matrix and not being like, oh, this actually happened, because that would be a scary prospect.
That's quite heavy. Yeah. I think Tron has absolutely stood the test of time already. And I'd argue, I mean, The Matrix has as well. It's been 26 years since The Matrix. It's past being a contemporary piece of fiction, and it's still excellent. I think that there needs to be a bit of a like cultural sorting out of what we mean by AI, because AI that we have as an app on our phone is just nothing to do with, the characters from Her and Ex Machina and Agent Smith in The Matrix, and the AI companies, they're still always talking about artificial general intelligence, getting to that stage of like a fully sentient mind created artificially, which personally I think is all just marketing bullshit on the part of the AI companies. And, it benefits those AI companies to let consumers think that it is the same thing. It's like Ex Machina in terms of like how complex it is. And like large language model, is it large language or limited language, whatever it is, LLMs, they don't have that intelligence that we see in fiction. And I think that latter version absolutely has legs for speculative fiction, and will do for many years to come. But we need to have a bit of a cultural sorting out of what we mean when we talk about AI in the real world and in fiction.
Yeah, because even James Cameron's been talking about, if he did another Terminator film, at the moment, he hasn't got an idea as to how things would have changed and how to tell a story which would be worth telling in that kind of talking about technology and the dangers of technology or the pros of technology. I mean, Terminator's always about the dangers of technology, but he's running out of that kind of stuff to talk about with it. And I think because AI is being thrown around so much as a thing we just talk about and use every day in our lives, I mean, I think, like you say, those kind of aspects of AI are still going to be in the realms of speculative fiction for a while, I would imagine. And I don't know how. I mean, Lawnmower Man is a hell of a film to pull out as well. I mean, that one is, I mean, the CGI in that didn't age, and I think that's part of the issue with that. And also, it's a little bit problematic in its depictions of various characters in that one.
Yeah, there's other things there.
Yeah,
there's other things at work in Lawnmower Man. That have aged that movie. But yeah, in terms of AI, I think that one of the fundamental questions, there's various different themes in AI that we looked at when we did a series on it. And it's like, is the AI going to go to war with us and like take us over? Or is it going to be a film about like, what does it mean to be human? And can I experience a real interpersonal connection with this AI? Or is it just, mirroring language back to me? And that bit links in with, I think, what's going on in the real world today. And I think you can tell some really interesting stories along the themes of the film Her, stuff like that, about developing a personal connection with AI and then wondering at what it means for you, who you are, what a human is. There's interesting stories to be told there that would link in with the more mundane, everyday applications of modern day AI.
And I think that's the thing with science fiction as well. You can tell these fantastical stories and you might be laughing about those ridiculous premises in the future, but some of them might hit home a little bit more, like the abundance of dystopian films and post-apocalyptic fiction out there. Like the dystopian ones in particular are quite scary to look at, but I think some of them, like, you want to have your audiences laughing at how ridiculous they are. So I think it's that kind of balance to it.
Yeah, I think so. I hope that answers your question, Jake. I hope we've thoroughly and accurately predicted the future for you. What have we got coming up on our podcast, James?
On our podcast, Matt, we will be covering The Expanse season finale. I've already queued it up earlier in the episode. We have finished our mini-series. It's been recorded. We've watched all 6 seasons of The Expanse, and we have thoughts on the very final one, which we'll be putting out on a bonus episode on Patreon.
That is coming out on the 3rd of September. And then on the 10th of September, we will be returning from our summer break to talk mad science once again. And we'll be discussing The Boys from Brazil and Das Experiment, sinister cloning plots and psychological experiments gone wrong.
Yes, that's a very deep one to be going straight back into as part of our mad science series. But will be a very in-depth discussion to say the least. And then after that, on Patreon the following week, we have a patron's pick. We will be looking at Strawberry Mansion, as recommended to us by Megan. So that film will be covering in depth over on the Patreon feed.
That looks really cool. I don't really know anything about it, but I'm really excited to watch that. And then after that, on the 24th of September, back to our Mad Science series, we are discussing Altered States and Upstream Colour, the kind of intersection of mad science and experimental art films. Strange movies, strange filmmakers.
Weird shit.
Yeah. That's all for this Future Frontiers, though. Thank you very much for listening. If you've enjoyed this, please do subscribe to hear more from us.
And you can find us all over social media. We are at Through Sci-Fi or at Through Sci-Fi Pod. And we also have a website, journeythroughsci-fi.com. And if you have any listener questions for us for a Future Frontiers episode, you can send them along our way on any of the social sites or at our Gmail account, which is journeythroughsci-fi@gmail.com.
If you want to support the show, please review us and leave us a comment. It's free, it's quick, it's easy, and it helps new listeners find us.
And if you want more content, you can find us over on Patreon. We have bonus episodes released every other week over there. We've got mini-series, we've got patrons picks, where our patrons find their best undiscovered gems in the world of science fiction, and we cover them on the show. And there's loads of other stuff on there. We've got new movie reviews. There's just an abundance of episodes, and me and Matt chatting shit about sci-fi.
That's right. Join us for more chatting shit. We'll be back very soon. Thanks for joining us, listeners. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.